Welcome back to Brew's Corner. This is Professor Brew, and we were talking about respecting our traditional values. Because if we don't respect our traditional values and our traditions, we are going to lose our identity as a country. There is a time and a place to share your stance. If you disagree with something regarding the government or politics, not at a sporting event. Professional athletes, you that make your millions, you can have your stances heard, your positions heard during press conferences, not during the national anthem. Those who are kneeling, let's be honest, first it started as a few, and I think that's just because to get attention. Well, good. It's an attention for a good cause. Attention that, yes, people are being treated poorly if they're arrested. Police officers are there to protect. And if they're doing it in a way with excessive force, we have to point it out. And if it's a consistent basis that they're doing it, we need to point it out. But the stance needs to be taken at a press conference or some other venue, not a professional or any kind of sporting event. We should not be kneeling during the national anthem. Too many people have fought too hard for our flag, for our rights, for our liberties, for you professional athletes to play the sport you love and the millions you make. The four leagues have to come together. Major League Baseball, hockey, football, and basketball. All four have to come together and take that strong stance. Again, I disagree with Roger Goodell and wavering and backpedaling. As soon as leadership changes their mind, backpedals, and is inconsistent, we get ourselves in trouble. If we continue to lack leadership, then we need to be a team as a people. Everyone. I take the example, the military uses a foxhole. In a foxhole, you're protecting each other. 4 people in the foxhole. 1 person in the middle, 1 to the left guarding your heart, 1 to the right guarding your blind spot, 1 behind you covering your back. That's a team. Protecting each other. That is what we need to do as a country, as a people. If we lack the leadership, we can still do this as a people. We need to protect each other. We need to unite as a country. Use the platforms that we have to express our ongoing concerns. And to me, these are the major ones. Fund hospitals, support education. And yes, what Obama tried to do in his 8 years as presidency, he introduced police reform, never implemented. If you listened to him speak last week, he mentioned it was not implemented. Police reform, the way we train our police officers, there's a task force out there. They're supposed to get this training, and we should have this reform. It was never implemented. He admitted that. 8 years in office. We should not kneel during the national anthem. Be proud of what your country has accomplished. Support each other. Players, professional athletes, NFL owners. You have millions and millions of dollars in sport. Those of you that are protesting and dropping to a knee, you professional athletes that want to continue to do this during the national anthem, and I hope it doesn't continue. It's not right. You make millions and millions of dollars. Owners, you're paying these players millions and millions of dollars. You're kneeling to protest against excessive force, police brutality against Black Americans or people of color. Understood. Agree with it 100% that you have that disagreement, that you know what, it's not being recognized enough, but the place to kneel is not at a sporting event, and you should never kneel during the national anthem, period. You have these millions of dollars, owners and players. We still have low socioeconomic people coming to support you, cheer you as you make your millions, and yet you kneel during the national anthem. Again, look at the nurses that are going and fighting this pandemic. Let's say nurses and doctors, like I said before in my previous video, throw in the towel and say, done, we're not being supported. Hospitals aren't being supported. We quit. Then what? Our health system crashes. Education not being supported. We have students with disabilities still. They have rights. They still aren't getting enough accommodations to give them the best education. And that's everywhere. Low socioeconomic, you name it. We need a bipartisanship. We need Congress. We need our leaders to come together and stop arguing. Stop calling each other out and passing blame and pointing fingers. Holding accountable, yes. Being responsible, yes. But now it's time for leaders and both parties to come together to help through this crucial time in our country. So, again, I have several Black American friends from Buffalo, New York, where I am originally from. I've talked to several people. This issue of excessive force, yes, the recent cases have been against people of color, Black Americans, absolutely. It needs to be noticed, it needs to be recognized. But we need to use platforms where necessary. We need to take that stance and do the peaceful protests we've been doing. That's great. There are stages, there are ways we can go about doing this. Not during the national anthem, not where you have a military fighting overseas for this country. I mean, look at the families that have lost loved ones during war, and here we are watching $1 million professional athletes kneeling. How do you think those families feel, losing those loved ones, seeing people kneel? We need to respect the flag. That is one of our oldest traditions. We stop respecting our flag, our nation. We're in trouble. We're in utter chaos if we lose sight of and value our traditions. Melting pot of the world. The United States is the melting pot of the world. We accept everyone. There is equal opportunity for everyone with jobs, with education. Everybody has equal rights. And yes, are people low socioeconomic or those that are being marginalized being stereotyped against, maybe, or being treated poorly within the judicial system and by the police, certain departments? Sure. It's a systemic thing. Those are where we need to be making our proposals. Those are where we need to be using a platform to say, hey, this is wrong. Let's start creating this change. Obama was in office for 8 years, and he wanted change. He created some change. One of the major things that he proposed was changing police reform, getting better training for police officers. He introduced a task force. It was never implemented during his 8 years. He said it. Yes, we need change. But we also need to maintain our traditional values in celebrating sport, celebrating our accomplishments as a nation, celebrating our flag during sporting events by standing tall, hand on heart, one hand behind the back, standing tall, proud of our nation's flag as a one unified nation. Please do not end that tradition. Let's not lose a sense of ourselves. A sense of identity. Let's keep our identity, which is strong, and let's keep it ongoing. Those people that kneel during the flag, they were just a few. They didn't get the support. They wanted to, it was one individual, I'm not going to throw names out, because there were followers that did it, and I feel for attention. If you were going to do it, why not do it in the masses somewhere else, not during the national anthem, for attention? Because again, you $1 million athletes that are kneeling, what if the fans just said, no more, we're not going to watch these guys play anymore? And we stayed home. You wouldn't be making your millions. Owners wouldn't be able to pay you those millions that you make. It's the American people, hard-earned money, that makes you who you are. Give back to the American people. Give back to those people you want to kneel for, those low socioeconomic people. Give back to them in other ways. And yes, take your protest, but use a different platform, use a different stage. Do it somewhere else. Not professional sports, not at sporting events. It'll divide us even more if that is allowed to continue. We are the United States where we have progressed to a point where everybody has equal opportunity, equal rights. We have done a great job as a nation in that regard. One area we've not, poor, you've seen it handful of times. And again, my prayers go out to those Black American families who have lost their loved ones because of excessive force by police brutality. Wrong. It is absolutely wrong that happened to them. And I pray for those families. I pray for all the families, including those police officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty during these rioting and these unlawful actions by people in protests. My heart goes out to them, and my thoughts and prayers go out to them as well. And memorial services, if we're going to nationally televise memorial services, well, then it should be for everyone that is unjustly killed. Not to pick and choose. We start doing that, again, we start becoming more and more divided. Cannot do it. So again, I plead with the American people to unite, come together, and yes, let's fight for civil rights. Let's fight against injustice together. Let's, as the melting pot of the world, black, brown, red, white Americans, come together as one unified nation. And let's overcome this division. Let's not make it about race. Let's not hate on each other. Let's light a fire under our leaders' asses who aren't leading to get us going, to get us motivated. And if they refuse to do it, like I've said before, let's be independent thinkers, come together. Let's use that theme that the military used, that theory of the foxhole. Let's protect each other. Let's have each other on the left, on the right, and the back. Let's have each other's backs. That's what America is about. Protecting each other, keeping each other safe, fighting for what's right. We can do this. We can get through this pandemic. We can get through the racial tensions that this country is facing. Those of you in prominent positions that have a name and a platform, what I plead to you is please use those platforms and stages appropriately. Timing, where and when needed. And again, those leaders in those professional sports organizations, the 4 major sports, come together and stay strong and don't waver, don't backpedal. And I want to say one more thing. Drew Brees coming out and apologizing to his teammates. What a stand-up guy, family guy. Love Drew Brees. Drew Brees, understandably, apologized. I get why you apologized, Drew. But let's stay strong as a country and support the American flag. The American flag stands for many things. Justice, liberty. But let's not use it to divide people. The American flag, we fought for as a country to get the liberties that you're all experiencing or have the opportunity to pursue. Let's not forget that. That's a key component. This has been Brews Corner. The segment is called Brews on Fire. Tout it.